in a dramatic and emotionally charged incident that has now escalated into a full-blown political storm. 19-year-old Edward Big Balls Coristine, former employee of the Department of Government Efficiency DOGE, and a known Trump administration loyalist, became the unexpected face of both heroism and controversy after he was violently attacked by a group of juveniles in Washington, D.C., an attack that has since gone viral and sparked urgent national debates about law enforcement, urban crime, youth violence, and federal authority. Coristine, a former senior advisor at DOGE who had resigned in June and recently joined the Social Security Administration, was walking with his significant other near Logan Circle around 3:10 a.m. when a group of roughly 10 juveniles attempted to carjack them. According to law enforcement reports and eyewitness accounts, Coristine acted with courage under pressure, pushing the woman into the vehicle to protect her while facing off against the attackers himself. He was savagely beaten, suffering a concussion, broken nose, black eye, and other head injuries, and his iPhone 16 was stolen during the attack. The brutal beating left him unconscious and bloodied on the ground until police arrived and managed to arrest 2 suspects on the spot: a 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl, both residents of Hyattsville, Maryland. The remaining suspects fled and are still at large, prompting a broader investigation and increased patrols in the area. But what turned this from a shocking crime into a national political flashpoint was the reaction from former President Donald Trump, who immediately took to his social media platform, Truth Social, and shared a graphic image of Coristine's injured face alongside a scathing message, blaming D.C.'s Democratic leadership for the city's decline into lawlessness. Trump, who previously appointed Coristine during his term and dubbed him Big Balls for his bold policy ideas and media presence, called the attack a symbol of D.C. collapse under weak liberal governance, and warned that unless immediate action is taken by local authorities, he would push for a complete federal takeover of the city. Citing the total breakdown of safety law and respect, Trump proposed deploying federal forces, activating elite crime task units, and even repealing the 1973 Home Rule Act, which gives the District of Columbia its local autonomy, meaning the mayor and city council would lose their power and be replaced by direct federal oversight. The plan, dubbed Make D.C. Safe and Beautiful Again, promises mass arrests, prosecutorial crackdowns, and visible federal enforcement on the streets of D.C., especially in crime-ridden zones like Logan Circle, Chinatown, and Southeast. Trump's critics immediately responded with outrage, accusing him of weaponizing a tragic event to justify authoritarian ambitions and revive fears of federal overreach. Legal experts pointed out that repealing Home Rule would require a congressional majority and likely face stiff legal challenges in federal courts, but Trump's base rallied behind the idea, echoing his claims that D.C. has become unlivable and unsafe for patriotic Americans. Meanwhile, Edward Coristine, whose nickname Big Balls, has now taken on a mythic status online. It's being hailed by conservatives as a fearless symbol of civic duty and masculine courage, with social media flooded with memes, GoFundMe campaigns, and calls for public honors. Coristine's family released a brief statement thanking supporters, but urging the media to focus on the wider issue of lawlessness in urban America. The suspects, whose names have been withheld due to their age, are now facing juvenile carjacking and assault charges. But their release has reignited the debate around DCS's lenient youth offender policies and controversial diversion programs, which often prioritize rehabilitation over detention. Some argue that these soft policies have emboldened criminal behavior among teens who believe there are no real consequences. Adding fuel to the fire, leaked footage from a nearby convenience store appears to show the group loitering and casing vehicles minutes before the assault, strengthening the case for premeditation. In the political arena, Republicans are doubling down on their calls for federal reform in D.C., using the attack to amplify their message that Democrat-run cities are war zones. While Democrats accuse the GOP of exploiting fear and cherry-picking cases to support heavy-handed tactics that could violate civil liberties, the Biden administration has remained mostly silent, with only a brief statement from the Department of Justice condemning the attack and promising assistance in the investigation. As the media frenzy grows, DCS Mayor Muriel Bowser held a press conference insisting that violent crime is down overall in 2025. Compared to previous years, though, critics counter that high-profile incidents like this one undermine public trust in those statistics. Federal law enforcement presence in D.C. has already increased this week with U.S. Marshals D agents, and Homeland Security officers seen patrolling hot zones, raising fears among civil rights groups that D.C. may soon resemble a militarized zone. Civil liberties organizations like the ACLU have begun preparing legal challenges to any attempt by Trump or Congress to revoke DC's autonomy, arguing that such a move would violate constitutional principles and democratic representation. For now, the nation watches as the fate of one injured man known more for his nickname than his policies spirals into a legal, political, and cultural battle over crime, power, and who gets to control the nation's capital. In just a matter of days, Edward Big Balls Coristine has become more than a victim. He is now the reluctant face of a dangerous national divide, a symbol being used to justify sweeping government actions, and a real human being whose life was nearly lost in the chaos of a city at war with itself. The questions that now echo far beyond Washington are chilling. How far will federal power go to restore safety? Can democracy survive in cities overwhelmed by crime? And how many more big balls will it take before something truly changes?